Society creates a stigma around what boys and girls can and cannot do. In today's society, it is deemed that a man should not cry in public. He needs to be strong and a leader. A girl, on the other hand, must be sensitive, a follower, and somebody who is incapable of doing anything herself. We hear things that insist on proving that boys and girls, men and women, cannot be equal. The arguments are girls can't do what a boy can, when there are plenty of situations where a woman has done a better job than a man. For example, the U.S. women's soccer team won more games and won the World Cup in 2012, whereas the males team did not do as well. Now here we see women excelling compared to the men, yet women get paid very little compared to them, even though they are doing better. Why, you may ask? Well, the women do not bring as much revenue, so I can understand why they get paid less, but next we have to ask ourselves, when was the last time we saw commercials and social media actually trying to get people hyped or informed about women's sports? The answer is not very often, if at all, ever. Why is the media aspect not focusing on women and only men? In my opinion, this is very sexist. This is just one example, and there are plenty more. Sexism affects my everyday life because I am told by society I am not as good as a man. Not only does society show me that, but it is proven over and over again that a man is better because he makes more money than I would while doing the same exact job. Sexism is a huge issue in my opinion because it seems as if societal rules are constantly trying to segregate people. If it is not in a racist way, blacks against whites, or in a religious way, Islam against Christianity, it's in what seems like the simplest way, boys against girls. When I experienced it firsthand, I felt as if I was the only one affected, but now I understand that it is not.
Feminism is a very real concept, and I'm a strong believer in that concept. However, I think that a majority of the male population does not think feminism is a huge contribution to society, but that's where they're wrong. It's important that we have feminism and that feminism exists to show society that we are not superior to men, we are not inferior to men, but rather we are equal.
Sexism affects many other women than myself on a daily basis. In government, sexism is at a point where it needs to be stopped. You have a presidential candidate who has said countless vulgar remarks about women, like calling Megyn Kelly a bimbo or telling a breastfeeding lawyer she was disgusting, etc. It is remarks like these that make me fear how sexism might escalate if Trump became president. In order to fight sexism, we must first challenge it. We must challenge it not only in society but also in the workplace. In these two places, what happens to women are not put in the light, rather it is shoved out of sight and put on the back burner. We have to take steps. The first step would be to organize. Get together with other women/men who want to support change. The next step is learning the history. We must discuss what has worked, what can be improved on, and what has failed so that we cannot do it again. I now understand that I need/want to take the steps to make sexism a more known issue so that we can keep furthering the fight for change. Next, we have to build unions, ones that are diverse and showing the working class. We must train members and support them so that we can challenge the sexism found in workplaces. Now, in my opinion, this is the hardest part. We have to ignore and understand that the sexist people we have now are not going to go away overnight. I wish that we could change the way people thought quickly, but people do not work like that. So we have to convince people over and over again until it sticks with the younger generation. Lastly, we need to have solidarity, and we need to unify. When doing these two things, we need to embrace our differences instead of pretending they are not there. By doing this, we take away the ability for people of higher power to ruin our unification by using our differences to pin us against each other.
Okay, so I am an adamant believer in feminism. I mean, come on, why is it that because I was born with different genitalia that I should consider myself lower than a man? That doesn't even make sense. Why do I have to have my hair be longer? Why do I have to wear certain types of clothes? Why do I have to present myself a certain way just because I was born with different chromosomes? I was born with a different body. Why does that have to have any type of inflection on what kind of person I can be, how much money I can make, what kind of job I can work, who I am in society? It doesn't make any sense to me. We're equals. We're all people. We're all human. No matter who we are, what gender we are, what sex we were born with. You're a human.
In one of our readings, Man discusses how women call men creepers and how it is the hardest to analyze. The author states in the article, quote, "She knows something about the world in which this way of seeing claims or tries to claim her, and something about it harms her or threatens to," unquote. Once we create a word for sexism, in this case creeper, and the feeling we get when we feel as if we are inferior to a certain man, we put ourselves at risk. I say this because we are internalizing sexism as a way of life since it is deemed as non-existent or non-important. Instead of showing the younger generation that it is possible to be equal to each other, we are showing them that they will always be lesser than that of a man.
Any woman who believes in women's rights is in some way, shape, or form a feminist, because the root of what a feminist is supposed to be is someone who believes in women's rights.
Now, after taking this course and having a light shined on sexism and other issues as well, I am finding myself researching and becoming more aware of the issues around me. Sexism needs to be changed, and I hope that one day I can be a part of the fight for unification of the sexes and equality for everyone.